Hey, what's up? I wanted to talk today about weather forecasting. Um, if you watch the news for your weather, it's relatively accurate. I think the news anchors are more movie stars than they are meteorologists. Uh, some of the things that I have here is where I live. The weather can change very quickly and get very dangerous. Uh, Not so much in the winter as in the summer. Summer, it could be a beautiful 90-degree day and turn to 80-mile-an-hour winds and hail and just craziness. Craziness, I tell you. But a couple things I want to show you about knowing your weather and knowing how to be safe and taking the precautions when you know something's coming. I mean, you can go by the weather and they'll give you, a rough estimate, but they really can't tell you what your instruments can tell you. So let me show you what I have here. This right here is a temperature weather station from La Crosse. I've had this for, I don't know, 6 years, something like that. It tells you the time, it tells you the date, it tells you the weather conditions. You can project out about 3 days out, which is pretty good, You can see it's raining right now, so it's pretty accurate. The humidity in here is 43%. The indoor temperature is 65, and the outdoor temperature is 38.7. And it keeps a record from year to year. The time and the date changes through a radio frequency that's broadcast. I think it's in California or something like that. The time, I believe, comes from the atomic clock, and I also believe the date too. So if everything else fails, this will still work. So the indoor temperature, the lowest it was, the indoor temperature was 57.2, and that was on 1-3. And and then the hottest it was 87.3, and that was in September. Now the outdoor temperature, the coldest it was last year was -7.6, and it was 65 in the house. The hottest was, well, I have air conditioning on. The hottest day was 107.6. The humidity was 43%, and the indoor temperature was 65 because I got a kick-ass air conditioner. My batteries are going dead, so I'm going to change my batteries out. Pop these bad boys out of here. Out with the old, in with the new. And it'll recalculate itself. The time and the date should recalculate itself within the next 2 hours. And it also, with the humidity, you see the little frown face there? It says that it's not humid in here enough. If it was more humid, it would actually start to smile. And you can see the little radio dish here. It's transmitting to the outside temperature gauge. I got another temperature module outside that goes with this kit. So it just took the temperature outside, shows it's transmitting from the receiver to the transmitter. So the transmitter just transmitted the most recent temperature, and it's saying that it's partly sunny out, and that'll change probably in the next 15 minutes. So I'm going to hang that back up. I keep this right in my kitchen, so when I wake up, the first thing I see is that. The second thing, this is a German weather box. I'm trying to think what the exact name of it was. It was a German forecasting weather station. Now there's two people in here. Got a nice little deer here. And you have on the left hand side Fraulein Fairweather. Now you know she has the bouquet of flowers. She's dressed rather smartly, and to the right of her is, come on out here, buddy. That is Herr Stormy. Now, Herr Stormy, you see, he has an umbrella. So, what you do is, like it's raining right now. So what I would do is, I just put Herr Stormy just coming out of the box a little bit, and then you'll get a prediction 2 days out what the weather is going to be like. Whether it's going to be extremely stormy, depending on how far he comes out. And when the weather's on the change and going to be fair or sunny and dry, Fraulein Fairweather comes out. So interesting how that works. It balances on a little teeter-totter in there. And they say to do not adjust it more than twice. I've adjusted it, I don't know, 10 times or something like that. But that's how it works. So right now it's raining a little bit. We'd put Herr Stormy out just a little bit. When I took him off the wall, he was all the way out, telling his tale. So we have the remote control weather station, radio control weather station, and we have the forecasting house, and then we have the barometer. Now the barometer here is a German Stellar 1975, I think, or something like that. These are really good. I picked this one up on eBay, and as you can see, it's going to be nice tomorrow because it was on rain this morning. Early this morning it was on stormy, and then it went to rain, and now it's on the change, it says, and it's headed toward fair. What I do is, when it's at the all-time worst, like the worst storm of the year, the barometer will drop out, and you have this needle, and you can set it to stormy. So right there, that was when we had the hurricane. So you really know you're in trouble when you see the barometer start to drop that far. It doesn't do it only in major storms. You see a real jump in the activity. And the nicest day was at fair. So it's a little uncalibrated, and you can calibrate it from the back with this little screw, but I've gotten so used to what it says, I don't want to play around with it. Now the third one, our third line of defense, is a Midland NOAA radio transmitter and receiver. This thing is awesome. You got a radio, and then you have the
peak after midnight, rain, areas of fog in the late evening, and overnight with visibility 1 to 3 nautical miles. For Friday, south winds 15 to 20 knots, becoming west 20 to 25 knots in the afternoon. Seas 5-2.
So I have the ocean forecast here, and you have 3 levels of warning here. You have advisory, which means that something could happen, and then you have watch, which means it's most likely going to happen, and then you have warning, and warning goes on 15 minutes before the event happens. So that if there's a tornado coming, or if there's a squall coming, or a really major thunder and lightning storm, it gives you 15 minutes to prepare. You can do a lot in 15 minutes. You can go for shelter, you can leave, and I gotta say, it's probably about 98% accurate. When winter snowstorms are coming, it'll go right into warning the day of, to let you know. And it sounds an alarm. It can either be talking or the speech, or it can be an alarm. And it also, these are the things that it does: mudslides, black ice, freezing rain, freezing fog, tornadoes, violent thunderstorms, flooding, amber alerts. I got woke up at like 4 o'clock in the morning when that wackadoo kidnapped his daughter and killed himself. I thought, like, I looked and the thing said warning, 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 and I was like, it was going row, row, row. I woke up and I'm like, oh, it's finally here, the zombies. And I look at the thing and it said Amber Alert, and then it started talking saying the girl was missing, which I think is pretty cool. They do that on the Parkway too, in the bridges. The boards light up and say Amber Alert, and they caught that guy in, I want to say 40 minutes or 50 minutes. It is a fantastic service if you have kids. But, you know, I think if I could ever give you any advice, know where your kids are. You know what I mean? Don't just, you know, well, I'm not a parent, so I can't give you that kind of advice. But knowing what's going on in the weather, I don't know, weather always fascinated me. It's just something I'm into. Some people are into astrology, you know, meteorology. I just dig the weather, man. I dig the weather. No matter how much it rains, pours, storms, or it's hot, I get all excited about it. If it's going to be a blistering 120-degree day, I'm like, wow, that's pretty amazing. It's going to be hot as a monkey's nutsack today, or cold as a witch's titty. I get jazzed up about the weather. Whew. I must not have too much going on in my life, but it's true. I've always been that way. I've always been interested in the weather and the forecasting equipment. I'll be upgrading probably another 2 months or 3 months. I'm going to upgrade my system to a much more technically advanced weather monitoring station with the cones outside the house, the cups to measure rainfall, wind speed, wind direction, and it's a really cool system. It's like $3,000, but if you're really, really interested in weather, that's something for you. Other people would be like, fuck that, man, I can go buy myself an AR or a really hip 1911, you know. But weather's my thing. I dig weather. I think it's so cool. I've lived in some of the most extreme environments before in my life, and that, I think, not so much here as in those places. It could be life or death on how the weather turns. So it's that valuable. But here, you know, it can be dangerous, but not very much. I think in the Northeast we're sheltered a lot from a lot of stuff: mudslides, earthquakes, Gamera attacking, Godzilla. We get away from all that. We luck out quite a bit. The storms aren't as bad as they are in most parts of the country. So when, like, we get a storm that dumps like 4 inches of snow on the ground, people go into panic around here because they're not used to it. You know, they're not used to that kind of stuff. Or tsunamis coming up over the wall. It's just, we have it very good here. But, you know, there's other things that I don't like about it. But eventually I'd like to move to Vermont. It was either Vermont or Pennsylvania. I'm not really sure. I think the move to Pennsylvania will be much easier. But I used to camp in Pennsylvania quite a bit, up in Elisburg. But Vermont, I just fell in love with Vermont. I really want to move to Vermont, but I think that is going to be more of an expensive move, and I'd have to get a really good job out there to do it. But eventually, that's where my ass is going to end up, eventually. But, man, I drifted off the subject there. And the reason I was saying that is because I just love extremes in weather. I love the snow. I love when it's 4 fucking feet deep. I dig it. I live for it. You know, I just think it's so cool. But that's my video for today, guys. Is it exciting? I don't know. It's exciting to me. So I thought I'd share that with you. This little thing's really cool. I love it, but we'll get on to some of the cons about it. It works great. And it has 4 AA batteries that go in the back here. But what I notice it does, and that's for when the power goes out. So if the power does go out, you can still tell Godzilla's coming. What I noticed is, you see down in there, the batteries pop and dump acid all over the inside. I'm not really sure why that happens, but it's my 3rd set of batteries that only lasted a year, and they just explode. And I never had that with any of my toys. All right, guys, later.